What's going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today when I talk to you about Palantir, I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down on what is really moving it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So Palantir is up slightly, 0.77%. Broader market for the most part is kind of recovering, and that's just because over the last couple trading days, it's been absolutely massacred. A lot of that fear stemming from last week associated to inflationary data, starting with FOMC minutes, and then Walmart, then you had Michigan consumer sentiment. That laid the foundation for all of this fear. Now a lot of analysts took that and ran with it, saying that there's like inches away from a recession, consumers are like overdone and blah blah blah. So that's what's really been kind of prompting this crazy pullback. But at the same time, you are seeing relatively good volume still though with Palantir. So a lot of big money is still paying attention to it. So that's kind of a good thing. 82.4 million shares being traded, 97.4 is the average. There's a big data point that's coming out today though, NVIDIA earnings. That is going to really move the market. The market's going to be paying attention to the key metrics. So earnings per share as well as revenue, but more specifically looking at the future guidance, what they give, what is demand forecasted, and all the other fun jazz. So that hands down will move the market to the next leg up, or potentially break it even further than what has happened. And just to give you a good comparison, over the last 5 days it is down 17.04%. And just in general, it actually did have 5 consecutive red days. So that is already crazy enough, because the last time that happened with Palantir was almost like around 8 months ago. So it's been an eye-opener for a lot of investors. All Palantir people only know of it going up, and that's it. So over the last couple of days, this has been a very big, shocking event to a lot of people. But beside the point, I think it's still a beast. There's been a lot of things as well that really kickstarted that pullback. One is just, of course, through the Pentagon, the spending, and then just a lot of insider selling. So you have all of these right here, a ton of 144s. I'll give you an overview of all of that. So a lot of 144s that have been submitted ever since the 20th. So a lot of individuals, such as even Alex Karp, sold 585,000 shares. This was done on the 20th, and he sold quite a lot, as well as a lot of insiders, officers, and so forth. And I think in general, while Palantir did run up, the market largely just turned a blind eye. Didn't really care because Palantir was going up. But as soon as you had this alongside bad news, the market just said, that's enough. All this wasn't just spur of the moment, it was planned. You can see that based on here, Rule 10b5-1. So it was all planned stuff, but still nonetheless, that doesn't excuse all the selling. So you have this right here. Another officer, 375,000. You have 301,000 right here, 30,000, and then 225,000. So a lot of insiders, like I said, selling. Some people don't see that as a big deal. Some people do. I think it does affect the sentiment, but as far as the day-to-day operations, I don't see it as anything substantial. But let me know your viewpoint on that. Shorts, though, right now are returning 1.08 million shares. 2.84% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 61.6 million shares. Shorts have actually been returning quite a lot, and given the amount of fear in the market, is rather interesting. And so Palantir has been pulling back. So obviously by analyzing this information, it does signal that shorts do not feel like the recent pullback was justified. So again, that's one way to view it. As far as the overall options for today, 147 million in calls, 89 million in puts. 47% of all the options being done today are bullish in nature, which is rather odd because there's a lot of different stocks I look at throughout the day, a lot of different sectors, and most of that is rather bearish. So again, the fact that 47% is bullish is definitely standing out. It is rather low though. So 236 million in total premiums today, 491 yesterday, 763 the day prior. So it's not the best, but of the call options, you do see a consensus for it to be roughly around that $95 to $100 range. So people are anticipating a recovery, and I think a lot of that is stemming from NVIDIA earnings. Bears on the flip side, they are anticipating for it to be sub 80. So definitely it is on a key pivot right now. And based on this right now with that 88 and change, it is trading between this R2 and this R1. So $85.37 is going to be a strong support, followed by 77.04. Bears are anticipating for this R1 to be broken. Flip side, 90.52 and 98.86 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. Similarly, the bulls are anticipating for this R2 to be touched. So anticipate a lot of volatility in the foreseeable future. So for those of you that like options, maybe a straddle strategy might be advantageous, but you do whatever floats your boat based on the actual chart itself. So I'll give you an overview of what the Elliott wave technicals are projecting. So this is why I think at the end of the day as well, why it's been going down is because a lot of the charts do signal that $70-ish is anticipated. So it does have a pivot point of $108.33, and so for as long as it is below that, 70 to 76 is anticipated. Based on some recent ratings, I'll give you an overview of all that. So there was a new one that came out yesterday, 115, Morgan Stanley. Analyst has a 53% success rating. Then you have a lot that came out 6 days ago, 141. So that is, as far as I'm aware, the highest that has come out. Mark, who has a 57% success rating with Loop. Then you have Daniel Ives, Wedbush, 120. And then you have a $40 and a $60 ratings. So kind of crazy, polar opposites. And this is why a lot of innovative companies such as Palantir still not fully understood by Wall Street. But $93.13 is that price target, representing a 5% upside. Quickly going over onto the chart itself. So right now it is above that 50-day moving average, so off of this green line right here. So essentially it's bouncing off of that. That's going to be a key pivot as well for Palantir. So if it does break below that, then anticipate kind of further consolidation overall. So let me know your thoughts. In my opinion, I think NVIDIA earnings are going to come in better than anticipated, good future guidance, and then you will see a broad market recovery, including Palantir. That's just my thoughts. Of course, flip side could happen. You could see some consolidation, a pullback. I think overall what has happened over this greater year with Palantir, it's really established itself and built a good base, good community, and a lot of people know that Palantir is a beast. A lot of people might disagree whether it's appropriately valued or not, but I think a lot of people just generally know it's a kick-ass company. So as far as the next steps, I personally feel like I said it'll recover, but anything is possible. So let me know your viewpoint on Palantir. What's your general thoughts? What's your takeaways? Have you been buying the dip? Have you been selling? What's your general viewpoint on all that? One final thing, if you're looking for some kick-ass buy signals, pop over to my Patreon, link in the description below and also the comments. I give buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolutely on point and bangers. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.